and welcome to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 49, and this is a Saturday news brief, and this is the current economic collapse news. Well, what we've been seeing is they are hitting the war drums and having us believe that Syria has chemical weapons, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to prove this to the American people and to show them this is why we need to get troops into Syria. We're also seeing China and Japan fighting over the island, and we see that China has sent over 40 warplanes over there when they were doing their little exercise when Japan was doing their exercise, and we can just see the war being built up all over the place. And they're really pushing this to get this going, and they're really running out of time. And you could tell that things are speeding up because the Senate resolution number 65 with Israel, that if Iran attacks or something happens in that region, the U.S. will back Israel. You could just tell that all this was done during the bombing when the Boston bombing was happening, and they're just putting everything into place and speeding everything up. I know also in the news we see a bill that was introduced that would limit the federal agencies from stockpiling ammunition. Guess what? That's never going to go anywhere, not at this point in time. I mean, they're bringing this up now because, you know, all these fools who are senators and representatives are like, wow, why is the DHS stockpiling ammunition? Actually, they're wondering right now, what do they need it for? Why do they need all these weapons? Why do they need 2,700 armored vehicles? They're just starting to figure it out, and they're trying to say, this is interesting because this makes no sense to us. And why hasn't anyone ever told this? Because they're so deep and far into their ridiculous life that they stop worrying about the country and worrying about how they're going to make their next million with their insider trading instead of working for the people, and that's why they're there in the first place. So they figured, yeah, this looks kind of scary to us, so we better create a bill. But I'm going to tell you right now, this thing is going to go nowhere because nobody in their right mind that knows what's going on is going to let this thing pass because they need to continue to stockpile ammunition. They need DHS to continually acquire weapons, ammunition, because you know what they're here for. And there was a DHS training video, and I have it up on the Sentinel alerts, and you can see it there. And it basically goes over, you know, they're talking about fighting against homegrown militants, and it goes through the whole thing. You know, where they had like SWAT teams go in and arrest extremists, and they had tons of illegal firearms, and they were planning to commit a terrorist attack, and it just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we know what the DHS is for. The only people that don't know what it is the people who are sleeping. They only hear DHS is to stop terrorists, to protect America, which is the opposite of what they're for, and the fools in government who have no idea what's going on. Those are the only people that believe DHS is for the good of the people. Now, in Investment Watch blog, they have an article about risk of deflation is high, key inflation indicators that support that could break at any time and will surprise the majority. And if I go way back in my episodes when I started the episodes in the Great Depression, I do believe that we're going to see deflation first and then inflation hit. And I used an analogy of a wave where you see a wave pull back and there's less water, but it builds on the back end, and when it hits, that's the inflation. It just floods everything. And I believe that is what we're going to see, and this is coming very quickly. If you noticed, gas prices are going down. Food, I've been watching food, and food is actually The prices are going down. They're not going up anymore. And I'm wondering if we are hitting that deflationary period where we're going to see prices everything to start come down. And it's only going to be temporary. And then we're going to see, boom, it's going to hit again. Now, there was an article in the news about, do you qualify as a domestic terrorist? And I went down the checklist to see, where do I fit? And you can do this too. Where do you fit? And it's funny because it's, you go down the list and it says, expressions of libertarian philosophies. I really, you have bumper stickers. And no, it's not me. Second Amendment oriented. Yeah, I'm for the Second Amendment. Actually, for all the amendments. I'm for the Constitution, Bill of Rights. I'm for it all. So yes, I fall into that. Self-sufficiency. Do I have ammo, food, hand tools, medical supplies? Check that off, yes. Fear of economic collapse. Buying gold, silver, other precious metals. Yes, check that off for me too. And you can go through this, yourself. Religious views concerning the Book of Revelation. No, I don't follow that. But expresses fears of Big Brother or big government. I'm not fearful of them, but I do not like what they're doing, and I don't agree with them chipping away at the Constitution and our rights. Homeschooling I do not do. Declarations of constitutional rights and civil liberties. Yes, I agree with that. Belief in a New World Order conspiracy. Yes, I do believe it. They've been doing this for quite a while. And if you look at the many speeches they have done, they always talk about the New World Order. I mean, it just, it's going to be fantastic when the New World Order comes in. And they continually go on and on and on with that. Now, there have been 2 reports coming out about cyber attacks, and Living Social had a recent cyber attack. And what I noticed about when they talk about this, and it affected millions of their customers, but everything's okay. But they're always naming different groups, not just China, not just Iran, but they're naming for each cyber attack. They're saying, oh, this one was China, this one was Iran, this one was Russia, this one, was some Islamic group, and they continually do this. And I believe they're doing this so they can use whatever group they need to at the time of the attack. Like we saw another cyber attack on PNC Bank, and that was done on Friday. And the PNC Bank experienced a possible denial of service attack on Friday when many customers discovered that they couldn't access their accounts online. Now, to me, and this one, they don't know who it was, and they think it was the Al-Qassam cyber fighters, and but they're not sure. But they always throw that in somehow, some way. And I'm just curious if all these cyber attacks are tests to see if they can simulate cyber attacks, simulate what it would be like and how the customers would react, and because they always test things ahead of time. They always run little drills, and I'm wondering if this is what they're doing at this time. Because we know when the cyber attack comes, we know it's not going to be real. We know it's going to be a false flag. We know it's part of their agenda. But in the news, these attacks are coming more often, and we're seeing them being blamed on different groups. And we know for a fact, because of the Boston bombing fiasco, that they're going to need another type of domestic event, some type of false flag event to continue with their agenda. And we're seeing a lot of the news come out about the cyber attacks and everything else, and a lot of countries right now, doing the same bail-in laws that are here in America and England and what just happened to Cyprus. So you see a lot of things happening. And very soon we are going to see some type of event. We don't know what it is. We don't know the exact date, but we know that something's coming because they really need to get us into the war. They really need to push this thing forward because they know the collapse is coming very soon. They're holding it off as best they can. But again, it's the human factor. This is the unsure part of it. This is what they don't know, if they can hold off, and this is what they're doing right now. Listen, everyone, have a great weekend. Thank you. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared.